Total Drama Island. The first in the series, and man, it did a good job introducing all the characters to us. Besides the redonkulous race, this has the most people in it, which is obviously immediately a plus. And for the most part, they're pretty likable too. The only one I didn't really like was just Ezekiel, but that's just because he got eliminated first and they didn't really do much with him. I don't know. Also, the fact that he ruined season three's finale, and I don't know. I just don't like Ezekiel that much. Most of the other characters, though, were pretty interesting. Some favorites including ones like Lashana, Gwen, Noah, Owen, Duncan, Lindsay, Tyler, etc. And this season probably had okay, never mind. This season probably had the second best villain out of them all, which is Heather. I like Heather. She's a really interesting character. She's just okay in Island, but I like her a lot better as the seasons go on. Also, the fact with her and Alejandro, that stuff is so funny. There's a lot of other funny characters too, like Tyler. This season had a lot of relationships. We had Jeff and Bridget, Duncan and Courtney, Lindsay and Tyler, Gwen and Trent, and heck, even a little bit of Owen and Izzy. But I guess that was more World Tour and the other one, Action. Then, of course, there was Cody, who likes Gwen, and then and Gwen didn't like Cody, and Cody didn't know why, and then he kind of got a taste of his own medicine in Season three's World Tour. And the final two was probably my favorite final two out of any season, Owen and Gwen. Also, this season is the nicest Chris will ever be. This is an Action. And this is the only season that Katie, Sadie, and Eva ever played in. Also, it's nice seeing characters who went downhill in Action still be really interesting in this season, like Trent and Lashana, just to name a few, and of course, Gwen. I really loved the stuff they did this season too. Like the sleepathon one, the dodgeball one, the one that they're scared of stuff, and of course the wheel of woe one, whatever you want to call that one. The one where Heather gets eliminated. A lot of the challenges they do this season almost remind me of the actual show Survivor. And I think this season does the best job of, I guess, making it seem like a Survivor season. It wasn't perfect though, like Lashana's elimination was very just odd. Honestly though, now that I think about it, it was at least better than an Action where she went through all those personality changes. But, I guess it's though because the show knew we would like Lashana. And because she wasn't going to be one of the ones making it to the final three, how do we get her out eliminated then, huh? And of course, Lindsay's elimination too is just very, I guess, odd. I don't know why. All of Lindsay's eliminations have been just super odd. I'm not going to explain them all because she's been in like half the seasons, but why? She's totally a character I could see going to the final two in a season. Unfortunately, it just has never happened. She did the best in Action, and there you go. I also like the part where Lindsay literally ends up cursing out Heather for being a bad friend. That scene was hilarious. And the part where Lindsay says, "I hope your karma gets you," or something like that, and it ends up with Heather going bold, which is hilariously funny, and she deserved it. She definitely did. Because, I mean, Heather was a pretty good villain, but I don't really know if I really liked her too much in this season. Mainly just because of the whole diary thing, and of course when she kissed Trent. You know how I feel about that. Which then led to a rocky situation with Trent and Gwen's relationship. I hate when people tamper with relationships. That's the one thing I hate with Total Drama. Other than those few things, and that the show did feel a little long and very filler at times, it was overall a pretty good season. I would watch it for a third time, maybe. Not right now, but I would probably watch it again in the future. Anyway, there's two left, so let's go to number 2, which is The Redonkulous Race. Wow, going from the worst season of all time to one of the best is a big, big plus. I think they knew what was going wrong, so immediately they replaced Chris with a brand new host, Dawn, who's actually pretty interesting. He's a lot better than Season 6 Chris, I'll say that. Another thing they did bad on with Season 6 was its episodes. This time around, they did a really good job with its episodes. Another thing was the cast. Season 1 had a lot of people, 2 not as much, 3 like 2 more, and then 4 through 6 barely had anyone. But now we get a whole cast of people. Another thing was the characters being really one-dimensional and just boring. Fine, we're running out of teenager ideas, we'll just make a whole bunch of different. We'll make parents, old people, heck, even a kid. You didn't like the host being the main villain of the season? Okay, we'll make an actual villain team this time around, and man, they were hilarious. We're getting tired of Survivor, well, we'll go to the Amazing Race instead. And that's what's really cool, because I'm probably more of an Amazing Race fan than Survivor, so seeing a Amazing Race in Total Drama is just so fun to watch. And oh boy, the cast is just great, for the most part. There's a few teams I didn't really like for example, you remember Leonard from Season 6? Well, he somehow wiggled his way into this season, but at least he was eliminated first with his friend, I forget her name. Ugh, and the tennis players weren't any better. Thank God they were the second ones eliminated. You see, though, I feel like they had to make two unlikable teams to get out earlier because they know they made a pretty good cast. So they're gonna have to bring back people they don't like Leonard, and get them eliminated right away. Also, Jeff returned this season, which was really fun to see since he hasn't been in a season since season three's world tour. No, he hasn't even been in world tour. Last season he was in was Action. He ain't with Bridget, which is sad, but him and Brody are fun to watch. Then of course there's Noah and Owen, who is a hilariously fun team to watch. I love how Noah gets a lot of character development in this because he ends up finding a girl, Emma, who he ends up falling in love with, which is so fun to watch. Oh yeah, and Emma and Kitty, I forgot to mention them. They're kind of like Jay and Mickey, but better. I don't really like how Kitty tampers with the relationship between Noah and Emma, but other than that, I don't mind Kitty, and she shares the same voice as Lindsay, so I mean, it can't be that bad. There's the scientists who are fun to watch, the vegans, the goths, the step-cousins who fight all the time, which is funny, Ryan and Stephanie who fight all the time, which yet again was funny, the rockers, Spud and Brock, I think their names are, the father-son team, Junior, I think was the first kid we've ever seen on a Total Drama. It's too bad they didn't make it to the final two, and of course, why the heck did Noah and Owen not make it to the final two either? The ice dancers were fun. They were the main, I guess, villain this season, and they were so much fun to watch. I loved their accent, and they were just so hilarious. The cadets were fun. I love MacArthur. She's hilarious. The other teams I didn't mention were just okay. And what can I say? I love the Redonkulous race, and it's too bad we've only had one season of this. We need a second one, desperately. It's also funny how MacArthur appeared in Total Drama Rama of all things. She's a really hilarious character. A lot of these are really fun characters. I like seeing it. I like seeing them. With that, let's get to number one, which is Total Drama World Tour. Wow, such an amazing season. Like Action, some of the original casts from the original season didn't come back, but unlike Action, it was more of the unlikable people, like Justin, for an example. And it was fun seeing characters like Noah, Cody, and Tyler again. And what, you didn't like that Action had less than Island? Well, they added two new characters just to keep things fresh. Sierra's pretty interesting, and I like her, obsession over Cody, and then Alejandro being the main villain of the season. He isn't quite as annoying as Heather was from Season 1, which was nice. I think it's mainly just because Heather is a little more weak and would ask other teams to do stuff for her. Alejandro's more strong, so he does everything himself. And plus, because they both sort of like each other, they both kind of slow each other down. Chris was nice this season. I loved seeing Chef this season. I love that they were going to different world locations, which kind of is almost like the Redonkulous race in a way. And once they got eliminated, we had that Aftermath show again, which was a lot more interesting than in Action. Unlike Action, where Jeff was the Chris, now Jeff is just, I don't know, he was just normal. He's just Jeff. Instead, we get a new character, Blaney, who acts more like the Chris of the Aftermath, I guess. And I feel like the things that they do in the Aftermath show are a lot more interesting this time around than what we got in Action. Also, yes, we do get another character, Blaney, as well, who a lot of people really don't like, and I can definitely see why, but I mean, Let's be real, if you're comparing her to a lot of the cast we got from like Pagatu Island, there is no comparison. Blanley's fairly interesting, and I like how she doesn't keep getting chances. Like, for example, I felt like characters like Dave from Pagatu Island, or even ones like Sugar and Amy, they got way too many chances. Blanley, when she was acting annoying, then she got what was coming for her. And of course, I love the drama this season. Action, I feel like they kind of lacked in drama, but this time around, we have so much drama we don't know what to do with. Yeah, because we got a lot from Courtney and Gwen, because apparently Gwen stole Duncan from Courtney, but they weren't dating. I don't even remember if they were anymore at this point. All I know is that Gwen kissed Duncan, and they became official, I guess. And it was nice that even though Duncan quit, he ended up coming back just because, I mean, he's an interesting character. And even though this season did get rid of some of my favorite characters early on, like Lashana and Lindsay, they did a good job with a lot of the other characters. I didn't mind. Like, I'm glad Gwen stayed in a lot longer this season. Same with, like, Izzy, because she got off early in action. And then there's Heather, who went through an actual really big character change. Still sort of being the villain, but also not being terribly unlikable, and it actually being nice at times. Like when Sierra's hair fell out, Heather helped her get a wheelchair and a little hat thing to hide her bald head. I think it's also just because Heather went through the same thing. And man, I haven't even talked about the music yet. This season, they had a lot. Every episode had at least one song that they would play, turning this season into like a big musical. And because this is the third time we're seeing the cast, it's fun just seeing them sing songs. And most of the songs are pretty good too. Two good examples being Built Gwen's Face and I'm Gonna Make It. I think there's only one thing I didn't like about this season, and that was the whole love triangle thing between Gwen, Duncan, and Courtney. And of course, some episodes definitely being better than others, but other than that, this season just has to be my favorite out of the total drama ones. Like, it's the most perfect when it comes to total drama and, like, all the seasons. It's just so good. With all that, I hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you next time. Bye.